Reddit users, what is the smallest crime you can commit? When I was in high school, there was a gas station that used to sell beer to anyone, but they'd charge ridiculous prices. Like $20 for a 12-pack of Bud Light in the late 90s. On my way out, I always would steal a bag of ice from their freezer box, which was outside the building. I figured I'd more than paid for the ice with their upcharge, and if they saw me, they couldn't call the police because then they'd have to explain selling beer to a 16-year-old. In Germany, crossing the street in an angle other than exactly 90 degrees. It's not directly a crime but punishable with a fine of €5. Edit: you have to take the shortest possible way, which is likely to be 90 degrees. I sometimes scan a chocolate croissant as a plain croissant at the self-checkout. They are the same price, so I'm not sure if it's actually illegal. In Washington state, it's a crime to use drug paraphernalia to process or prepare a controlled substance that is not yours. So if you used a pill splitter to help your grandparent take their cancer medications, then there's an argument you've violated RCW 69.50.412. Not sure if it's the smallest, but it is super fged. If you are prescribed controlled substances, it's technically illegal to store them outside of the marked prescription bottle. So anyone who carries a pillbox with their daily meds is committing a crime by this standard. In practice, it's rarely enforced unless the cops want to harass someone, as it generally won't hold up in court once the patient produces evidence that they're prescribed the drug. See also the difference between driving without a license, driver is unlicensed or suspended, and driving without a license, left the card at home. Have you ever picked up a bird feather you found and kept it? You're a criminal. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act prohibits almost all feather keeping. When I was a kid, I collected thousands of feathers. I had a whole photo book full of them. People would bring me feathers to add to my collection, so I had accomplices too. Steal someone's heart. Well, I lost my temper and I took a knife and I dash. Do you know those do not remove under the penalty of law labels they put on mattresses? Well, I cut one of them off. Fun fact, that actually doesn't apply to the consumer, it applies to the seller or producer. Say advocate avocado in Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg will ban you for 24 hours. Apparently, for Facebook, avocado is a racial slur. When driving on a highway, seeing a single frame of a movie someone is playing in their house, thus stealing from the streaming service provider by not paying for the subscription. Printing personal documents on a work computer. Evil laughter, lightning and thunder in the distance. Flatulence in a lift. Chemical and biological weapons are banned by the Geneva Convention indeed. Stealing of a single grain of rice. As a kid, I stole a single seed that fell on the floor at a store. Started to get really anxious that they had cameras and that they'd somehow find me. Unsurprisingly, that was the start and the end of my life of thievery. Wouldn't recommend stealing a grain of rice either. Stick your finger in someone's ear officially counts as rape. When I was in 3rd grade, my best friend said, "Want to see me commit a crime?" Then he threw a penny in the trash and said, "Technically throwing currency away is illegal. So maybe that is the smallest crime." Google Blue or Bizarre or Strange Laws in state, and you'll see. In this case, it's illegal to give oral sex in Missouri. So the smallest crime one could theoretically commit would be to suck your dick. In Kentucky and Georgia, there's one where it's illegal to have an ice cream cone in your back pocket, but only on a Sunday. Apparently the law is a holdover from when horseback was the primary mode of transportation, and if you took the reins of a horse that wasn't yours and walked away with it, then it was stealing. However, if the horse followed you without you touching it, then it was not stealing. Hence, you get the horse to follow you with a treat in your back pocket, and bingo bango bongo, you now legally have a horse that wasn't yours. Walking around London holding a salmon. in violation of Section 32 of the Salmon Act 1986, which is headed Handling Salmon in Suspicious Circumstances. I paid the shopkeeper by mistake through Paytm and told him it was an accident. I showed him the payment confirmation and they returned the money. Later on, Paytm also gave me a refund, saying the payment failed. See that ship over there? They're rebroadcasting Major League Baseball with implied oral consent, not express written consent, or so the legend goes. Loitering. It's a crime for literally doing nothing. We can wear our finest Adidas tracksuits, slowly sip on energy drinks, and ask passersby for a cigarette. Blasphemy is technically illegal here in Ireland. Edit. I have been informed that it was removed from Irish law in 2018. Eat a singular grape in the shop without paying for it. Checking. I acknowledge that I have read, understand, and agree to the terms and conditions when you know damn well you didn't read it and never will. My neighbor's kid rang my doorbell and asked if I wanted a cup of lemonade for 25 cents. 1 year later, I'm still waiting. In my country, feeding street dogs is a crime. Suicide. It's basically murder, but you suffer no legal consequences if done right. I accidentally shoplift items at a store. I apply a job application there a few days earlier. I noticed my mistake to check the bottom of the cart. Went back inside, paid the rest, and went home. The next day, I got a call for an interview and got the job. Worked there for many years. Loved it. Moved up really fast. I am on short-term disability for cancer treatment, but I hope I return back soon. Illegally accessing a website by just randomly picking a birthday because I don't want to waste time scrolling to the correct days. Being homeless. I believe that's illegal in the US except for 2 or 3 states. It's also illegal to donate food in Houston without a permit. In many states it's illegal to reuse things from garbage bins, including food. Even if it's perfectly safe and you don't make a mess. It's illegal to busk, beg or ask for help or supplies in Texas. Also, interestingly, indecent exposure in Texas is only a crime if it's in to arouse yourself or others. Walking too slow in the grocery store. No, I guess that's a pretty serious crime. Steal electricity. In the UK we call it abstracting electricity and is still a crime. In fact, a man was arrested for trying to charge his phone on a train in 2015, total value 0.052 pence. Train had plugs, but they were marked as not for public use as they were for cleaners only. It's illegal to deface money, so taking a pen and scribbling something on a $1 bill is a crime. Spending change that you found on the ground without going through the proper procedures to acquire ownership of this found property is theft. In most states you are required to turn over any salvage or found property to the authorities, where it is to be held for up to 90 days. During that time you must make substantial effort to locate the original owner, putting out ads in newspapers, checking for reports of lost property, etc. In addition, if you suspect that the found change might have some historical significance, you need to reach out to archaeologists to prove that it is not over a certain age. Otherwise, historical objects are essentially property of the state, with some caveats. For example, many states will allow the finder of a significantly valuable historical object to claim a portion of the treasure's value as a finder fee, and if you live in England, all of it belongs to the king. If after the required waiting period and you can prove you made actual effort to locate the potential former owner, and that the object has no significant historical value, then you can claim ownership. This is an important thing to know if, for example, you happen to find some lost jewelry you would like to keep. You could go to prison if you find a Rolex on the ground and try to sell it, as that constitutes theft. Technically, spending small change you find on the ground is also theft, but no court would convict you over a nickel. Friends, thank you for watching. Please share your stories below in the comments and see you on the next videos. Have a good day.